Hello, good morning. How are you? Hi, good morning. I am fine, Nambita, Akshata, Akshara. I am fine. All of you, how are you all? Hope things are going well. Okay, good. Fine. So yesterday I started with the salivary glands. Remember? I am good, ma. I am good. Sami, what is this? I just read it. Name Sakshi. Okay, Sakshi. I'm sorry, I can't read without these spectacles. Right. I'm fine. You're all. I hope you're all doing well. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I think I just want to ask you. So the digestion chapter in the human physiology. Do you feel it's something different from what you used to learn earlier? Because a lot of students they think that in whatever tenth they have studied, that was boring and all. Actually, it is very important and very interesting chapter. No? I feel it's very interesting. Most of the students, after learning this one, plant physiology, human physiology, they change their mind also. Those who don't want biology, also they start learning biology. Are you not feeling anything different? Because when you were in kids, school and all, there will be something else you were learning. It's very basics. Now I'm giving you all in detail. How are you feeling now? Because most of the places I see, they give all external things. They will not even go to the details. I see a lot of teachers also will do that, right? But in our thing, I'll give all along with the PU and the syllabus for the NEET, everything I'm completing. Therefore, it should be interesting to you. Tell me, are you feeling something different and extra you're learning and important thing you're learning for your life? Yeah, feel curious, right? Curious by minute. Okay, good. It is really fascinating. See, biology, when you learn, no, it should be fascinating because it's happening in our own body, it's happening around us. So you will always feel very happy to learn. And moreover, I'm not doing elementary things, I'm doing basics as well as the details. It's good to learn about ourselves. Fine. But one more thing is we are doing along with NEET. Most of the places what they do is only board syllabus they finish and just leave them. Later they conduct some NEET classes. When they conduct NEET classes, the basics are already gone. That I'm not doing. When as and when we do some subject, it's neat and detailed thing I'm explaining, right? So it should be very easy for you and also it's interesting about ourselves we are learning. Not only that, I'm doing it in detail. You ask your other friends, those who have joined some other college, you can check it that how much deep we are going into the subject, right? Even in the textbooks you have seen, I'm doing still depth, right? Not just front thing, external thing I'm not doing. Okay. So therefore, you be with the subject so that we will get into the deep subject and learn, explore our knowledge. Right? Ultimately, it is to know about ourselves. Right? Finally, so yesterday I gave you about the types of salivary glands. Can you name the salivary gland types and their ducts? Name of the salivary glands and their ducts. Yes. The rotid and the duct through which it is released. The duct through which it is released is called Stenson's duct, I think. Yes. Then second one is pair of, yes, Stenson's duct. Submaxillary glands releasing its contents through Wharton's duct. Duct also, I'm asking you. Okay, Wharton's duct and sublingual glands release their secretions through. Mix the things and write now. Sublingual with the ducts of pharynx. Okay. Then I told you the contents of saliva. What are the saliva contents? Saliva has around 95 to 96% of water, 98% of water. Along with that, some other contents it will be having. Right? What are the contents of saliva? salivary contents. Salivary ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? Salivary mucosa ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಸೋಸೈಮ್ ಎಂಟೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಲೈಸೋಸೈಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ salivary amylase enzyme. ಇಷ್ಟು ಕತೆ. So after that I told you that I will give you about gastric glands. Today we are going to start with the gastric gland. Done? Okay. After gastric gland I will give you a liver. So first is salivary gland, second is a gastric gland, third is a liver, fourth is a pancreas, fifth one is a intestinal glands. 5 glands. At the beginning I gave you 5 glands: salivary, gastric, liver, pancreas, intestinal glands. Understood? Fine. So let's now talk about the gastric glands. This is quite a big chapter actually. Okay, fine. Let's now continue with the gastric glands. Second type of glands, it is gastric glands. So gastric glands are present in the stomach wall of the muscular wall of the stomach. You find the gastric glands. These gastric glands produce gastric juice, and this gastric juice is produced with 3 types of cells. So this will produce gastric juice, and it is produced by 3 types of cells. The cells involved in the production of gastric juice, first one is called as oxyntic cells. Oxyntic cells. Second one is called as the peptic cells. Third one is called as goblet cells. Right? Oxyntic cells are going to produce highly concentrated hydrochloric acid. Peptic cells produce the enzymes for digestion, namely pepsin and renin. Goblet cells produce gastric mucosa. So these are the contents. So what are the gastric juice components? It is made of producing gastric juice. They have 3 types of cells: oxyntic cells that produce hydrochloric acid, peptic cells that produce the enzymes like pepsin and renin. They both are protein digestive enzymes. And third one, goblet cells that produce the gastric mucosa that protect the stomach wall by the action of hydrochloric acid. Okay. Then what are the functions of this? Okay. Because of the hydrochloric acid, which whose pH is 2, right? 1.2 to 2 pH. Very highly concentrated pH that we are having. So the major function of gastric juice is, first is digestion of proteins because of the enzymes. Second is these proteins enzymes will get activated. So the pepsin and renin get activated by HCl. And third one, HCl present here, it will help in the loosening of fibers. Loosening of fibers in the food, and also kill microbes. These are the functions of gastric juice. Did you understand? So basically we have 3 types of cells and 3 components. Together they are the gastric juice, and the functions involve, first is the digestion of proteins because of pepsin and renin that digest proteins, but actually these enzymes are in inactive form before the food enters. They become activated only by the help of hydrochloric acid. Then hydrochloric acid helps in loosening the fiber. Suppose they are eating carrot and all, it becomes thick fiber, no xylem fibers will be there. That fiber will be loosened by the help of hydrochloric acid. Along with that, hydrochloric acid kills all the microbes present in the food. So those who are properly chewing and taking in the stomach, then most of the microbes are killed in the stomach because of acidity. Understood? So that's about the gastric juice. Right? Gastric glands. Gastric glands are located. Gastric glands are located in the wall of stomach, the wall of stomach, and they produce gastric juice. The wall of stomach and they produce gastric juice. Gastric juice is produced by 3 types of cells. Three types of cells. Namely, oxyntic cells, first one, that produce hydrochloric acid. That produce hydrochloric acid with pH 1.2 to 2. With pH 1.2 to 2. Next one, peptic cells, second one. These produce the enzymes, pepsin and renin, that digest proteins. Next, goblet cells. They produce gastric mucosa. That protects the stomach wall. From the action of HCl. The action of HCl. Action of HCl. Next, right? Functions of gastric juice. First one, gastric juice helps in digestion of proteins. Digestion of proteins that require acidic pH. Digestion of proteins that require acidic pH. Next, it also helps in activation of enzymes, pepsin and renin. Helps in activation of enzymes, pepsin and renin by HCl. Third one, HCl helps in loosening of fibers. Loosening of fibers. Next. Fourth one. HCl kills the microbes that enter through food. That enter through food. Done? Okay then. So that's about the HCl and gastric juice functions. Now we will move on to next part. That's about the liver. The third gland, digestive gland is liver. Let us talk about liver. The third gland, it is liver. So you know that liver is the largest gland in human body. It's the largest digestive gland. Not only digestive, compared to any other gland, it's the biggest one, right? So liver is weighing around 1.4 kg. So big is the liver. So liver is somewhat of this shape. What we call it, somewhat umbrella shape structure, and it will have the duct called the bile duct. And the bile juice is produced by the liver cells that will be stored in. See, this is the one. There is a gallbladder. Here is a gallbladder. So understand, whenever I am drawing the details of liver, I am showing the gallbladder because it's very small. In the main diagram, I couldn't draw because it's very small. I drawn very small one. Okay. This is the liver, and liver is covered by a thick covering. We call it as a Glissen's capsule. Glissen's capsule, and this is actually gallbladder. And the duct through which gallbladder opens into the bile duct, we call it as the cystic duct. And this is the bile duct. Okay, this is the structure of the liver. It is covered by a thick, tough sheet called as the Glissen's capsule. And whatever it produces normally bile juice. Bile juice, and this bile juice will be stored in gallbladder. Small bladder will be there, sac-like structure in which it will be stored, and this will be released through the cystic duct into the bile duct. This is a bile duct that opens in the duodenum area. You know already, duodenum it opens, right? So now this is the structure. Just remember, you need not to draw this again, but I want to show you what are the parts. I'll just explain you while giving notes. Okay, now we'll study what is the function of liver. So liver functions, I'll give you. This is only the structure of the liver and gallbladder. What is the function of liver? Actually, considering the function of liver, it is the most important organ compared to any other part in our body, because liver controls almost every metabolism. Metabolic activities, all the metabolism are controlled by liver. Mainly, it controls the glucose metabolism or carbohydrate metabolism. So that's a major thing it will do, right? Then I'll explain you about the digestion, right? Before that, I told you bile juice is produced. This bile juice, what it will contain? It consists of two things. First one is called the bile pigments, namely bilirubin and biliverdin. So these are the two pigments that give the bile juice a yellowish color. This is yellowish, this is greenish yellowish color. That is the bile pigments, right? Second thing is, it contains bile salts. These bile salts are of two types: sodium glycocolate and sodium taurocolate. Right? These mainly TAURO, taurocolate. Okay, these two salts are bile salts that give the bile juice very alkaline pH. Its pH of bile juice is almost 8.9 to 9 pH. It's highly alkaline pH. The reverse. Hydrochloric acid is highly acidic. This is highly alkaline pH. And not only that, these will provide the help in their main function is helping in the fat emulsification. So they help in emulsification of fats. What is emulsification? Normally, whenever you eat oil or anything, no oily food we eat, all that oil will collect to form one small big globule, right? Like oil globules will be formed like big ones, right? These cannot be digested easily, but these oil globules or fat globules are broken down into fat small droplets by the help of these salts. These salts, we break them into small ones. These are called the micelles or fat droplets. These are the fat droplets. This is going to form small ones so that they are exposed to action of digestion. They are not helping in digestion, but only they convert the large fat globules into small fat droplets called micelles. This process is called emulsification of fats. Emulsification is in chemistry we call it as saponification. That is soap formation of soaps and detergent. You will learn this, right? So this is a major function of bile juice. Other things I'll give you later. Write down first. Write the heading liver. Third gland, it is liver. Are you writing? No message, nothing. Liver is the largest gland in human body. Largest digestive gland in human body. You are writing, okay, good. It weighs around 1.4 kg. It weighs around 1.4 kg. Next, liver is, next point, right? Liver is an umbrella-shaped organ or gland, umbrella-shaped organ or gland that is covered by a tough sheath Glissen's capsule, Glissons, Glissen's capsule. Glissen's capsule. Next. Liver produces bile juice with the help of its cells called hepatic cells or hepatocytes. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಗೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಹಿಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೆಸರು ಹಿಪಾಟೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. Hepatic cells are hepatocytes or hepatocytes. Next line you write gallbladder. It's a small globular sac-like structure. It's a small globular sac-like structure that stores bile juice. That stores bile juice. It releases the bile juice. It releases the bile juice into the bile duct. It releases the bile juice into the bile duct through what? Tell me now. Through that time I told you, no? Through what? It releases the bile juice into the bile duct through. Correct? Tell me. Cystic duct. Good. C-Y-S-T-I-C. Cystic duct. Cystin alla, cystic. C-Y-S-T-I-C. Cytic alla, cytin alla. C-Y-S-T-I-C. Agale bardide nanu. Cystic duct. Cystic duct. What is that? Cystic duct. Okay. Next, bile duct opens into duodenum of small intestine. Bile duct opens into the duodenum of small intestine. Next, contents of bile juice. Contents of bile juice. Bile juice is made up of two components. First one, bile pigments. Bile pigments. Second one, bile salts. Bile salts. First side heading, right? Bile pigments. These are of two types. Bilirubin, a yellow pigment. Biliveridin, a greenish yellow pigment. A greenish yellow pigment. The function of bile pigments is The function of bile pigments is to provide yellowish color to the fecus. To provide yellowish color to the fecus. Yellowish color to the fecus. Next one. Bile salts. These are of two types. Sodium glycocolate and sodium taurocolate. These two bile pigments help in emulsification of fats. Underline that. Bile salts help in emulsification of fats. In ಬರ್ದಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳೋವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Emulsification of fats. Ma'am, the two types. ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ರ. ಇದೆ two types. Sodium glycocolate, sodium taurocolate. ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅವಾಗವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಹೇಳೋವಾಗನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಕಿವಿ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಓಡಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು ಆಗ್ಲೇ. ಖುಷಿ. If you keep watching, no, you will not be having, will not miss anything. If you are not watching only, you miss some of the things. Right, next. They help in by emulsification of fats. Okay, next, right? Emulsification of fats side heading. It's a 2-mark question. What is the 1-mark question? What is emulsification of fats? Right up. Emulsification of fats. It is the process of breakdown of large fat globules into small fat droplets or micelles or micelles. Emulsification of fats, it is the process of breakdown of large fat droplets, large fat globules into small fat droplets with the help of bile salts. With the help of bile salts. Namely, write the names of bile salts. Namely, what are the names? Names yado. Namely, sodium glycocolate and sodium taurocolate. Bile juice provides, next point, bile juice provides alkaline pH, and reduce the acidity in food. Acidity in food. Correct. Glycopolate and all spelling is correct. Okay, done. Is the major thing I given you about the gastric juice. Now, what else we have to learn in liver is, I told you it's a very responsible organ. It will do a lot of other activities also. What are the other activities? It will involve in maintaining the blood glucose level. Very important work it will do is, our blood glucose level is maintained by this liver. How it will do it? Okay. So, in liver, right, helps in maintaining the blood glucose level. Glucose level is maintained. How it is done? First, if there is excessive glucose, suppose when you eat the food, no, rice so much you eat, it becomes so much of glucose. So when it is absorbed in the intestine, digestion happens in the stomach and small intestine, it absorbs. Blood vessels surrounding the intestine will absorb this glucose because starch will break into glucose only. And that blood will not directly given to the body. It will be supplied to the liver through hepatic portal system. There is one portal system there where from the intestine the blood is taken and passing through the liver. First it will go to liver. In liver, if the sugar level is more, then the level of the sugar is maintained to the normal 80 to 120 milligrams per 100 cubic millimeter of blood. It will do that activity, that is by maintaining sugar level. First one, if there is excessive glucose, it will be converted into glycogen. It's a stored inactive glycogen with the help of hormone insulin. This insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreatic juice, pancreas, right? From the pancreas will come here, it's a hormone and it converts glucose into glycogen and stores. So this process is called as glycogenesis. Very important word it is. It is first one, glycogenesis. That is converting excessive glucose in the blood into glycogen. Second thing, if you are not having food, so I told you after having food, always our blood glucose level will rise. In liver, it will come to normal, right? Only when insulin is released in the pancreas, insulin from the pancreas will come to liver and it will work in the liver to convert excessive glucose into glycogen, right? If insulin is not produced, you suffer from excessive glucose and you suffer from diabetes. Therefore, insulin is very much required for our body because it is produced by the pancreas. Remember how complicated it is. Our body looks so simple. 1, 2 eyes and 1 nose and all hands and all. It's not so simple. Internally, lot of one kind of war is happening, right? To keep you healthy, right? So what's happening? And I told you extra glucose. You eat so much of rice, it becomes so much of glucose. Ishtu rice, ishtu glucose agutte. Ashtu glucose alla ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಬೇಡ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ absorb ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲಿವರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ through hepatic portal system. It's not given to the body. Hepatic portal system ಅದೊಂದು blood vessel system. ಅದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲಿವರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲಿವರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಇರೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತದೆ. So that requirement 80 to 120 milligrams of blood glucose only required for 100 ml of blood. ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಉಳಿದಿರೋದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. Now, second is the reverse of it. Suppose you are not eating food. ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು ದಿನದಿಂದ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಉಪವಾಸ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೋ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್, ಅನ್ನ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಕ್ಕಿ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಂತ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಜೋಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್. ಅದನ್ನ ತಿನ್ನದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಫುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್. ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅವರ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ಈ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಏನು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೋಡುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ಗೆ ವಿತ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ glucagon. Right? This conversion is called as glycogenolysis. Glycogen is broken down. Lysis is breakdown. Glycogen broken. The words are very important. You may confuse all of them. Don't confuse. Understand the meaning. Glycogen is lysed into glucose. Glycogenolysis. This glucagon is also a hormone produced by the pancreas. So that will come to the liver and convert excessive glycogen into glucose. Means if there is no glucose in the body, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ನ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಲೆ ಸುತ್ತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇವೆರಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್, ಇನ್ಸುಲಿನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಡಯಾಬಿಟಿಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಈಟಿಂಗ್ ಲಾಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಂತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಡಯಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಇದೆ. ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್, ವೀಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್, ರಾಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್, ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಬರೀ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸೆಸಿವ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲಿಪಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಲೈಪೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ತಿನ್ನದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಲಿಪಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ್ದು? ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಏನೇ, ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಹೋಗಿ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಕಲ್ಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. therefore you are eating ಇಷ್ಟು ರೈಸ್ ತಿಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಷ್ಟು ರೈಸ್ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ರಾತ್ರಿ ತಿಂತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ 3 ತಿಂಗಳು ತಿಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಪ್ಪ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಟು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ into lipid or the fat. Is a most problematic thing. All of us we are developing. Why Indians and Asian country people are very fat? Because of the consumption of more of starch food. Starch food ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೋ ನಾನ್ ವೆಜ್ ಇದ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಮೀಟ್ ನಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಗ್ ನಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ವೆಜಿಟೇರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೇಳೆಕಾಳುಗಳು ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೇ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಸೋಯಾ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೋಯಾಬೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಈಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ಬೇಗ, ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಗ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಯಂಗ್ ones will not become very fat early, but nowadays I've seen all kids also will be very fat, overeating because of this kind of things. Bread ತಿಂದೆ, ಪಿಜ್ಜಾ ತಿಂದೆ, ಚೀಸ್ ತಿಂದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫುಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? therefore it is liver is doing all this, lipid convert ಮಾಡಿ ಲೈಪೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ದಿನ 2 ದಿನ 15 ದಿನ ಊಟನೇ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಫಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಏನೋ ಬಂದಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಲಿಪಿಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಕ್ರೇವಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆರ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದು ನಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಲಿವರ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್. ಊಟನೇ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ. ದಿಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ನಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, ನಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ into glucose is called gluconeogenesis. This is a neat profession, gluconeogenesis. And whichever is not a carbohydrate, that also can be converted to carbohydrate by liver when it is in need. Body need ಇದೆ, ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಉಪವಾಸ ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದೀಯ, 15 ದಿನ 20 ದಿನ ಆದಾಗ ಸುಮಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಮಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಬಾಡಿಲಿ ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾ ಮೇಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಉಪವಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ ವಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೌತ್ ಇಂದ ಎನಸ್ ತನಕ ಅಲ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಉಪವಾಸಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಬಾಡಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಂಗೆ ಹಶುವಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಹಶುವಾಗಿದೆ ಊಟ ಹಾಕು ಅಂತ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬಿದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ತಿನ್ಬೇಡ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಸಾಕಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಓದ್ಕೊಟ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಂದೆ, ಇವರು ಓದ್ಕೊಟ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಂದೆ, ಅಮ್ಮ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪಿಜ್ಜಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಂದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ತಿಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದ್ಯಾ? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಓನ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹಶುವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಯಿ ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತಿರೋ, ತಿನ್ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ ತಿನ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ತಿಂತಾರೆ ನಾನು ತಿಂತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್, right? So all the things internally are maintained well. Understood? Right? It's very interesting, I feel. Right on. When liver is the only organ which regenerates, correct. Is the lipid stored in the liver only, or it is sometimes it's stored in the liver only, sometimes it's transported. ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೇಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, liver is it is the only one which will regenerate itself in human body. Okay, right up. Other functions of liver ಅಂದ್ರೆ bile juice function ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು other functions of liver. Liver is the most important organ in human body. And it controls all the metabolic activities. It controls all the metabolic activities. And therefore it is called the metabolic mill. Metabolic mill of human body. Mill ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರಿ ಇದೆ. ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಮಿಲ್ ಇದು. Metabolic mill of human body. Next, first one, glycogenesis. Glycogenesis. It is the conversion of excessive glucose to inactive glycogen in presence of the hormone insulin. In presence of hormone insulin produced by the pancreas. Produced by the pancreas. ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಔಟ್. I say it is a conversion of glucose into inactive glycogen in presence of insulin, in presence of hormone insulin. It is produced by pancreas. It is produced by pancreas. That is produced by pancreas. Then write this: glucose into glycogen by insulin. What is the meaning of high metabolic rate? High metabolic rate yaak bandile? When did I tell you? Did I tell you that? Neha? High metabolic rate is every activity is fast. We breathe fast, we digest fast, we circulate fast. It's called high metabolism. All metabolic activity will become more. It's called high metabolism. ಆಯ್ತಾ ಬರ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಟು ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಜನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ. Did you write a box? I will check all these things, okay? Later I'll ask you all these things. I'll check all these things. Next one. Glycogenolysis. It is the process of conversion of stored glycogen into active glucose stored glycogen into active glucose in presence of hormone. In presence of hormone, glucagon. Spelling nodi bardini glucagon. Glucagon. Write this and put it in a square. Glucagon by glycogen into glucose by glucagon. One more question ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ. Glycogenolysis ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. Next. Lipogenesis. Side reading. Lipogenesis. It is the process of conversion of excessive glucose into lipids. Into lipids. Next, gluconeogenesis. This is the conversion of non-carbohydrate sources into glucose. Non-carbohydrate sources into glucose. Done? You're finished? Yeah. Okay then. So some more functions are there. This is all about the metabolic activities it's controlling. Apart from that, some more other things it will do. What is that I'll tell you now. Right? So liver, I told you, it's a huge thing. It's doing a lot of other activities also. Therefore, let me give you other activities. One is, so some other activities. That time I told you about the metabolism. Now it is other activities. First one, there are certain cells called as von Kupffer cells. So these are the cells present in the liver itself. These help in phagocytosis. The phagocytosis refers to the cell eating. Suppose in the liver, these cells will be like this. This is the liver cells, hepatic cells. Okay, this is the blood vessel. Here are the von Kupffer cells. Whenever the blood will carry any bacteria or microbes, it will take it and kill them. Right? It will grab. Suppose this is the cell. It will be like this now. Imagine there is a pathogen entering, then it will form pseudopodia like thing, like this. It will take it in and it will digest this inside. This is what you call the phagocytosis. It's called cell eating. It is grabbing a cell and killing it. That is done by von Kupffer cells. Right? Second thing, it will control alcohol control. What will you do if a person is alcoholic? He drinks a lot of alcohol in there. First, it will be directly absorbed in the mouth. Even in the stomach, it is absorbed. Therefore, I told you, wall of the stomach will be broken down if the person takes alcohol. Then it first enters the liver. In liver, whatever extra alcohol is there, it will convert that into fat and stores in the liver cells. And also, because of this, liver cells become very fatty and they break down. This is called liver cirrhosis. This is a disease. People who drink alcohol, mostly they die because of the liver breakdown. That is, liver cirrhosis will happen and liver cells will die. That's why liver cells will die. Sugar metabolism. Therefore, the people who drink alcohol, mainly they lose the liver. Right? And along with that, in liver, there is a formation of urea by the help of one cycle called as ornithine cycle. Very important, ornithine cycle. And although urea it will be helping excretion, it will be sending this blood containing urea to the kidney through renal portal system. See, two systems I told you, portal system. One is hepatic portal system, that is via route through the liver. Renal portal system is the via route through kidney. In the urea blood kidney filter urine. Then it will come back to the heart and then supply to all body parts. So it's a big issue, big story. And although excessive alcohol will try to convert into urea only. Alcohol ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕುಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂರಿನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ದ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ತುಂಬಾ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪೆಟ್ಟು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ. ಹಂಗೆ ಲಿವರ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಯೂರಿನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ those who drink alcohol, they have no control over urination. They continuously go for urination. Uncontrolled urine ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಆಚೆ ಕಡೆ, ಅದು ಯೂರಿನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಇಟ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಇಂಟು ಫ್ಯಾಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸಫರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಸಿರೋಸಿಸ್. ಫ್ಯಾಟಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್ ಅಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸಫರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಫ್ಯಾಟಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರು ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಕುಡಿತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಟಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಸಿರೋಸಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಮೊದಲೇ ಕತೆ, ಇದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕತೆ. ಇದು ಡೆತ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. They will die because of the non-functional liver. Right? Two important functions there. One more thing is, if there is anybody consuming oral poison, mostly it will throw it through urea. Urinal ಮಾಡಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಓರಲ್ ಪಾಯ್ಸನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್. It will remove all the toxic things present in the blood. Like ಯಾರು ಈ rat poison ಕುಡಿದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದನ್ನು ಕುಡಿದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಫಂಗಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕುಡಿದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸತ್ತೋಗೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಒಂದು ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಯಾರು ಓರಲ್ ಪಾಯ್ಸನ್ ತಗೋತಾರ ಅದು ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂರಿನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫೈ. ಲಿವರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಟಾಕ್ಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡಿ ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ರೋಗ ಬಂದು ಹುಷಾರಾಗ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂರಿನ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಲಿವರ್. ಇದು ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್, ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್, ಬಾಡಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಯೋದನ್ನ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನೀವು, ರೈಟ್? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಬಾಡಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂದೆ ಮರಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡದೆ ಎದ್ದೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಟಿವಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು. ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮೇಲೆ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಬೇಕು, ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಊಟ ಕಡಿಮೆ ತಿಂದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ರೈಟ್. Ma'am, can you explain again Vahan Kapar cells? Okay, ಹೇಳೋಣ. Vahan Kapar cells ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಲಿವರ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ಹೆಪಾಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಲಿವರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹೀಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಇವನ್ನ ಹೆಪಾಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಹಿಪಾಟೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಈ ಹಿಪಾಟಿಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ. ಈ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತವೆ. ಇವು ಲೈನಿಂಗ್, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇದು. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವಾನ್ ಕಪರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. ಇದೇನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಂದಾಕ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಎನ್ಗಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಂಗಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಮೀಬಾ ತರ ಹಿಡಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಳಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಫಾಗೋಸೈಟೋಸಿಸ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? Sujal, did you understand Vahan Kapar cells? Okay, right on. Other activities of liver. 2. Second one, other activities of liver. Number 2. Agale other activities alli bere bardidini. That what we are written is a metabolism, controlling metabolism. Do other activities of liver. Right on. In liver, the blood vessels, ಈ blood vessels ಏನಿದೆ, ಈ blood vessels ಹೆಸರು sinusoids. Blood vessels, namely sinusoids, are lined by special cells called Vahan Kapar cells. Are lined by special cells called Vahan Kapar cells. These cells show dissected margins and takes part in phagocytosis and takes part in phagocytosis. That is, it grabs the microorganisms. It grabs the microorganisms and destroy them. Written and destroy them. Then next, alcohol, underline. In people who consume alcohol, liver plays an important role to reduce its toxic effects. Liver helps in to reduce its toxic effects. Maximum alcohol is converted into fat. Maximum alcohol is converted into fat and is stored in liver cells. And is stored in liver cells. That results in fatty liver syndrome. Then in serious cases, The fat-filled liver cells get broken down. Fat-filled liver cells get broken down. Get broken down. I'll repeat. In severe alcohol consumption or in severe cases, then broken down. Fat-filled liver cells break down or broken down, reducing the functioning of liver. And the disease is called liver cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis. Is called liver cirrhosis. You know, it results in death. It results in death. Next, formation of urea. Urea is first produced in liver. Urea is first produced in liver through ornithine cycle. Through ornithine cycle. Then next, detoxification in liver. Detoxification in liver. When a person consumes oral poison, when a person consumes oral poison, when a person consumes oral poison, oral poison, most of it will be detoxified. Most of it will be detoxified by converting into urine. By converting into urine. By converting into urine. Even excessive alcohol also will be converted into also it will be converted into urine and is excreted through kidney. It is excreted through kidney. It is excreted through kidney. Done? Okay, done. So liver ಎಷ್ಟು ಕತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇದೆ ಲಿವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೋ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ದಟ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ liver is the major organ next to our brain liver is important right next we will talk about the pancreas the third gland it is pancreas unless we finish all these we can't enter the digestion. Okay. So coming to the fourth gland that is pancreas. So you know that it is somewhat leaf-like structure, right? Like this leafy structure. So if you take a small portion, observe the section livers, the pancreatic cells look like this. Right? These are all pancreatic cells, and inside that you will have small cells. Further, these are the one that produce pancreatic juice. Okay, these are called as pancreatic lobules. And each cell in this is called as a pancreatic acini. Pancreatic acini anta irthundi. But yella pancreatic acini irthundi. Adre sometimes in the center, some in between, some undifferentiated mass of cells will be there. Very important thing to remember for you. This undifferentiated mass of pancreas cell, we call this as islets of Langerhans. Right? Pancreatic acini bandu pancreatic juice anta tayar madutte, but islets of Langerhans is a endocrine portion. It is an endocrine part that produce the hormones yado insulin and glucagon. So mainly pancreatic acini can say they'll produce first thing is they produce pancreatic juice. Okay, this is having a duct, pancreatic duct in the Combining with the bile duct, they will open into the duodenum. Will open up the duodenum. Is a pancreatic duct. So anything that passes through duct is called as the exocrine gland. So pancreatic juice release out of the exocrine gland. This pancreatic acini produce pancreatic juice that is released into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. So it is an exocrine part. Okay, this pancreatic lobule will form the exocrine part that help in digestion. Right, it contains all the proteases and protein digesting agents irutte, lipases irutte, carbohydrates, amylases ella irutte, amyl irukku enu anta amylases irutte and nucleases ella irukku. It's a perfect digestive juice. Apart from that, there is an endocrine part called islets of Langerhans. It is endocrine. We produce 3 types of cells: alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. Alpha cells produce the hormone glucagon. Beta cells produce the hormone insulin. Delta cells produce the hormone somatostatin. Delta cells produce the hormone somatostatin. This helps in actually those two you know. Glucagon will enter through the bloodstream into the liver and helps in converting excessive glycogen to glucose. Glucagon part. Insulin through the blood it will enter because these are endocrine. Endocrine are ductless glands. Bloodstream in there hogtade. Bloodstream ali they will go as an inert substance only in the area where it has to function. It will start working. Therefore, they are called endocrine functionings or endocrine gland. So, pancreas will work as both exocrine and endocrine gland. Therefore, we call this as a dual gland. Dual ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ತರನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ pancreas. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ dual gland ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So ಏನೇನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, pancreatic juice produce ಆಗೋದು pancreatic acini ಇಂದ. The pancreatic lobules ಅಲ್ಲಿ number of cells ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಇದರ ಹೆಸರು pancreatic acini. They produce pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contain all the enzymes. They help in digestion. They'll be released to the pancreatic duct into the duodenum. ಇದು exocrine part. Endocrine part important ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ endocrine part is called islets of Langerhans that consists of number of undifferentiated mass of cells, bunch of cells. They are called islets of Langerhans. These contain alpha, beta, and delta cells. These produce different types of hormones. Alpha cells produce a glucagon hormone that works in the liver, passing through the bloodstream and convert glycogen to glucose. Insulin produced by the beta cells will be helping in the liver to convert excessive glucose to glycogen. Delta cells produce somatostatin that helps in producing excretory substance. Excretion will help it. Okay, so this is about the story of the pancreas. Big story is there. Later again, when I talk about pancreas separately, I'll explain you details of the endocrine, the exocrine part. But right now, these things I'll give you short. Right now, pancreas it is a leaf-like gland. It is a leaf-like gland located below the stomach. Below the stomach. Pancreas is called a dual gland because it acts both as the exocrine gland and endocrine gland. exocrine gland and endocrine gland. First write the heading, endocrine part of pancreas. It is formed by islets of Langerhans. It is formed by islets of Langerhans. It is made up of group of undifferentiated cells. Group of undifferentiated cells. Undifferentiated cells present between the pancreatic lobules. Present between the pancreatic lobules. Pancreatic lobules. The cells are of three types. First one alpha, second beta, third one delta. Alpha, beta and delta cells. First one, alpha cells. They produce a hormone glucagon, in liver. Next point, in liver, glucagon helps in converting glycogen into glucose. Glycogen into glucose. What is that called? That process can enter. Glycogen to glucose conversion can enter. Yes, glycogenolysis. Very good. Glycogenolysis. Next, Beta cells, underline, they produce hormone insulin in liver. Beta cells brother, it produces a hormone insulin. Note I am repeating. It produces a hormone insulin. Next, insulin in liver help in converting extra glucose into glycogen and it is called, what do we call it? And it is called yes, glycogenesis. Good. Excessive glucose into glycogen process is called glycogenesis. Good. Next, delta cells. They produce a hormone somatostatin. That help in urine formation. That help in urine formation. Done. Okay, listen one thing. Here, if the glucagon is produced, what happens if the glucagon is produced? Glucagon is produced by alpha cells. What will happen? It converts glycogen to glucose. Glucose level will rise. This increase in glucose level is called as hyperglycemia. Glucose level जास्ती आगे होता है hyperglycemia. Because glucagon increases the glucose level, we call glucagon as hyperglycemic factor. Same if the beta cells produce insulin, what insulin will do? Insulin converts the glucose into glycogen. So it will release or reduce, right? Glucose to glycogen, glucose level will be reduced. Therefore, we call this as beta cells as hypoglycemic factor. Hypo glycemic factor. Did you understand this? Right, last one. Hyperglycemic factor. Say reading. Hyperglycemic factor. Glucagon is said to be hyperglycemic factor as it increases the blood glucose level. Glucagon is said to be hyperglycemic factor as it increases the blood glucose level. Next, right, hypoglycemic factor. Underline. Insulin is said to be hypoglycemic factor Hypoglycemic factor as it decreases the blood glucose level. Important star mark hakomodi hyper and hypoglycemic factor ಗೆ. Hypoglycemic factor. Okay. So now, did you understand all this story? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ? hyperglycemic factor ಯಾಕಂತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ what is insulin function ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದೇ ಮೇನ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿತದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಹೇಳೋದಿನ್ನ ದೂರ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನ ಇಂಟೆಸ್ಟಿನಲ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? If you understand this much, a lot of competitive exams you can write without even bothering. ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? Done? All of you understood? Done? Already people are gone. 50 ಜನ 40 ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. When we will ಏನಿಂಗ್ gets over ma'am. When will digestion? ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಸುಜಲ್ ನಿನಗೆ? ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ಬೇರೆ? ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಓದಿರೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಓದಿರ್ತೀರ, ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ತಿರಲಿ ಯಾವ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ. ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಮುಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ ಇನ್ನ. ಸರಿನಾ? See you then. Bye. Enjoy the day.